Hello, garden friend. Welcome back to the garden. It's winter, it's freezing out here, but every gardener knows the garden does not stop. So today I have some work to do and I will be amending my beds. Welcome to Finding Joy in the Garden. So I have these 4 beds here that are the 4 I will be focusing on, and they are not very good. These beds I inherited when I got this property, and the soil is pretty much straight clay. If you can see, it's all just clay soil, so it really needs to be amended, which is why I don't have a fall garden this year. I needed to focus on building up the fertility in these beds before planting again in spring. So you can see them here, the 4 beds. I've already started a couple of days ago, so you can see the soil here is disturbed. I had started putting some kitchen scraps in these beds. So under this is cardboard that I had over the growing season to suppress weeds, but I just lifted it up and put some kitchen scraps underneath here. So I have about 3 holes in here. So since this bed has got some yumminess, I'm moving over to this bed and I will show you. Like I said, I've already started, and this is the hole I dug. So this hole here is where I'm going to be putting my kitchen scraps. So I have my kitchen scraps in those bags back there. Let me show you. And it's just some bread and some orange peels. In this bag, I got some of the leaves, the fallen leaves off the ground, and I just put them in here because I'm going to bury some of these here. And I got some leaves off of my kale plant, which is over there. So some of the leaves that are not looking too hot, I picked them off. And I've put them in this bag. So I'm going to put the contents of these 2 bags in the hole, and that should help build the soil. In this bed, I planted tomatoes and peppers last year, and the tomatoes didn't do so well, but that was not because of the soil. It was because I did not water them properly or take care of them. But the peppers, I think they struggled a bit with trying to get their roots through this really hard, rocky soil. During the summer period, it got really dry and hydrophobic, which I believe is because it does not have a lot of organic matter in it. So I am going to amend these beds and hopefully have a better season next year. And if you subscribe, you'll be able to follow along with that and compare the growth next year to what happened last year. I mean, I got a great pepper harvest, but I know it could have been better. So let's do this. All right, so here we go. I'm doing this left-handed, and that's not my bend. So literally I just dump the contents in the hole. So see, some toilet paper rolls, some old snacks that my kids didn't eat. There. And then I think I might need another hole because this is almost full. So what I'm going to do actually is I'll dig another hole. So let me put some leaves in here just for some variety. Here's some dry leaves. And some kale. And I think the rest of this should be enough for another hole. So let me cover this up. So I'm going to dig a new hole right here and bury the rest of the kitchen scraps. See that? It's all clay soil. It needs some food. She needs some milk. Alright, I got some roots, but these look like they could have been pepper roots. When I dug in the other bed, I got some really thick tree roots, which was not ideal. All right, and we're gonna go with the kitchen scraps. So there it is. A nice little breakfast. Some bread, some kale, some banana peels, vegetables, just regular food scraps. Let me get some leaves. A sprinkling of leaves from the trees. Here, an old pepper plant. Ooh, look, there's an earthworm. Alright, let's see, what kind was that? Trying to see what kind of earthworm it is, because I have had the Asian jumping worm. That might have been an Asian jumping worm. I have invasive worms in my garden, and oh well, it is what it is. I'm gonna plant anyway. Cannot be the end of the world, can it? I've also found the hammerhead worm. So I have 2 invasive worms in my garden bed, but guess who's gonna garden regardless? That would be me. All right, let's cover this baby up. Yep, I see another one. That's an invasive one. Let me show you that. So this here, let's see if this worm looks like a regular earthworm, but this is it's a jumping worm, if I'm not mistaken. And it's cold now, so you can't really see the way it moves. But usually, if it had been warmer, I can't speak. If it had been warmer, if I touched this, it would just go flipping about. It just did a little bit ago, but I guess now it's tired. But let's see if I can give you a good look at it. This is not a regular earthworm. This is the nastiness. And it does eat a lot of your organic matter, but the worm castings are not nutritious, and it turns your soil into pretty much like powder. It's no good for your soil. But there are a lot of them here. It's not something I can realistically fight in the garden, so I'm not focusing a lot of energy on it. It is what it is. I will chuck this one from my garden though. Okay, now you can see it wiggle. Look at it. Can you see it? She's camera shy because every time I put the camera on her, she starts to play dead. Okay, now. See how she moves like a snake? There it is. You see that? There she goes. So I'm gonna put this in a bag and throw it in my trash because I don't want her in my garden. I don't want you, baby. Back to our regular scheduled program. So that's what it looks like, all covered up. And just as a side note, if you have organic matter lying on your bed and you don't really cover it with something that will also break down, it will likely just stay the way it is. And I'm talking about like stems and stuff like that. Maybe leaves might break down, but this stem here is from a plant I grew in 2023 and lay on the bed and covered with the cardboard all through 2024. Look at it, like brand new, right? So if I had buried this in soil, it would be gone, but it was just laying on top of the soil like mulch. Still here. All right, and cardboard is a really good weed suppressant. So as you can see, I don't really have any weeds here. The areas that were not covered with cardboard, like some here, you do see some weeds coming up here, but the rest of it, I didn't have to weed this bed, these 4 beds at all, because I covered them in cardboard paper. And this is the second year I'm doing it. It had really bad weeds here in this garden bed, and I was not in the mood to continuously weed. I have enough tasks in the garden without creating more, so I just covered everything in cardboard, and it has worked so far for me. Try it if you like it. All right, my next step here is to just cover the beds again in the cardboard. I'm not using new cardboard. I'm literally using this old cardboard that was laying here already. So I had just peeled it back, and now I'm just going to cover it again. So there. Is it pretty? No. Is it covered? Yes. Yes, it's covered. Now, if you are worried about digging animals and stuff like that, you can always put a paver, something heavy over it. Also, you could water it, and I don't think they like to dig around in wet stuff, but you can water it and cover it with a paver. I usually just use a container full of soil, like this one here. Right here, my last bag of kitchen scraps went right under here, and then I put this thing of soil here. And it's been a couple days, so I think we're good. I'm going to move this container over there. So like that, and that also marks the spot, so I know where my last dig was, and next time I will be digging over here and putting some more kitchen scraps in there. So I have a long winter ahead, and I'm presuming with the number of bags of kitchen scraps I'll get, I'll be able to amend these 4 beds and then start off on these new beds, well, new to 2024, that I have here, and they do need some nutrition as well, so I need to amend these 2 beds as well. But that's my plan for the garden. Let me know your plans for your garden in the winter, what you're doing, if you have a fall garden, what you're growing. Subscribe. I'll be doing some more videos showing what I plan to grow in 2025. And also a new garden plan. I will be building more beds and taking down some plants and putting in some new ones. So please subscribe so you can follow along on the journey. Thank you for braving the cold and joining me in the garden today. And until next time, may you always find joy in your garden and your life. Bye, garden friend.